guiding light is all I know. Through wood and steel, through fire and lace, I'm blessed to walk within your grace. Is to a throig arcane. You laid the path before me. You guided every step. Raise the hammer, string the bow. Her gift is all I need to know. Through toil and trial, through heart and hand, her grace builds up this mighty land. Is the grass the dead time it's sure? We'll build the land, our hearts within. From dawn till dusk, I work, I strive. With your blessing, I'll survive. The loom, the forge, the sword, the grain in your name, I rise again. Got Bua, got Tolan, got Trio. In you lies strength, in you lies skill. Each victory, each talent, each trial. No task too great, no skill too small. Your gifts, dear goddess, guide us all. Into force. Without your light, we have no guide, but with your hand, our place abides. Raise the hammer, string the bow. Her gift is all I need to know. Through toil and trial, through heart and hand, her grace builds up this mighty land. Is the grass the dead? Our greatest deed, by the grace of the goddess we are free. We'll build the land, our hearts within. I'm blessed to walk within your grace. Blessed by her grace, forever.
Hello, and welcome back to PAX Day, Search for Steel. I checked my total audio, and I'm speaking into my ear, so it sounds all right. I'll tell you, audio issues. I have a decent mic, and I thought I'd come across a little bit better than I am, but here we are. That's okay. Write in the chat if you think I can do it with my audio. I really appreciate it. As far as tonight's concerned, we are going into the third night of what I thought would be a one-night episode of education and how the ancients can help us fix the education. I wouldn't say in the world so much, but a majority of the world, and especially in the U.S. where I'm based. As you can see, I'm Fear, and I'm your host, Daniel. Fear's on the screen, and I am attempting a cloth jacket with long sleeves, which I didn't think I'd get. But man, that's a lot of cloth pins. So basically, it's just fine linen and cloth and thread. So I got it somewhere around here. Right? But yeah, we're going into education. We've been going into education for a little bit now, and it has been it's been an adventure, and I hope that everybody's taken away a little bit of the something from each episode. And thank you for joining me. Remember to hit that like, the subscribe, and the share. Also, notification bell. If you're not subscribed, hit that notification bell. It'll be fun. Um, and let's to recap. We were gamifying learning, and we used some ancient philosophy and modern science. That was last night. So we're beyond that. Um, I think. Let me check where my notes are. Yeah, I think we this is where we are. I think we're ending the gamify. So just for those of you who are joining us, gamified learning is where education goes from the the boring day classes and turns it into a play or some type of play. But it obviously wouldn't be just fun and games. It through our research, we found out it's a powerhouse and it hooks the attention of anyone who wants to play that game. It will teach you if you gamify it, and it will stick with you longer if you gamify it. Right? So when we're talking ancient wisdom, we're looking at Plato. He said, turn play into lessons, right? And he mixed the and modern brain science says, quote, this is how we learn best, unquote. I mean, you can't get any plainer than saying the ancients had it right how long ago? And then we turned it into an industrialized, uninspired uh, institution, I guess would be the best word for it. And it has, for lack of a better word, it has not been great for everybody. And I don't think anybody would disagree with that, right? Some people excel at school for sure, but they're more forced into it than anything, right? Well, it was legal in the United States to, you had to. Oh, I did that, didn't I? Well, let's see what it looks like. Well, let me go outside and there we go. This is one of our jackets. That's not bad. It's not bad. Not thoroughly. It's not bad. Yeah, but I took off. Yeah, that's my blacksmith stuff. So let's keep that. And we'll put these in here. But for the most part, I think it can be argued, but we haven't had the greatest success rate in schooling in the United States. Just haven't, especially in recent years. So let's go through it. And the whole point of gamifying is to get people engaged, right? So we're gonna go through history, research stories. Same thing we've been doing the last 3 nights, and we might be able to do some hands-on tricks to gamify your world in 2025. So let's kick it off with Plato. Uh, so, well, hold on. I think I'm past this. I think we talked about this yesterday. Let me just go through my notes just to make sure. Yes. So we talked about gamification last night, Plato, and it reinforced it. Now we're into educational governance. We talk about society and who best to make these decisions, right? We say no child left behind. What a horrible program that was. But we think for the children. We have to make these decisions for other people, for their children as well, right? And honestly, it's an emotional argument. So let's talk about centralized versus decentralized. So somebody telling somebody to do something, and decentralized people making decisions based off of what they think is best for themselves and the people, the children, their children in specific. All right, so the big one: who runs education? It says it's $1 million question, really, because who holds the reins decides what you learn, how you learn it, and whether it works. Think about think about those three questions. The people who are determining your education tell you what your education is going to be, how you're going to learn that information, and after all of that, they're going to say, "Yep, it worked," or "No, it didn't," by their own standards. It's amazing. So we're pitting centralized systems, which are top down, one size fits all, against decentralized setups, which are local, that have a local flavor to them. They have more teacher freedom, and they can adapt their education to what they're seeing on the ground or in their environment, in their area. But we'll pull from ancient wisdom. We'll do the modern stats and get some real world grit to figure this out. Definitely grab a notebook because we're going to go really, really deep into the subject and it's going to be twisty. So, a notebook might bring you back to our conversation. In the background, I think I'm going to do I think I'm going to try and get some bow stabs made, which honestly it's not going to go too far. Knowing what I know about the bow stabs and the amount of resin that I need, resin is so hard to pick up. But, gotta love the beehives, though. Let's get some beeswax fresh from the beehive. I know I have some around, but let's just get it fresh from the beehive. That way we're making it as we craft. Little pro tip here coming up. And guess how I learned that? By playing the game. I'm learning efficiencies. I'm learning which resource I need and what quantities I need it. In gamification in lower education levels, we'll just say when you start growing up. Now, this game wouldn't be a great one for kids, just because of because it's a massive multiplayer online role playing game, so it has adults playing it. Not to say anything bad about the adults. What I'm saying is, adults want to have a different flavor of game, right? And they don't want to have to inform kids of their additions and subtractions and normal everyday living. Honestly, this game has, and I will preface this: I am allergic to bees, but it made me think. Do I want to, or can I, be a beekeeper? I love it. I love the idea of it. Let's see if it's in here. Yeah, I got some. Ooh, I got resin. Lots of resin. I need these wood staves. I know I have some on here. They're fine wooden beam, or not fine wooden beams, a fine long wood, I think it's called. But essentially, it's needed to make the bow stabs or staves, however you want to pronounce it. I am not picky. And I could have swore I had like a lot. I should start selling stuff too. Not many people come by on the markets, though, honestly. All right, so none up here. Let's see if we got any down here. There they are. There's some. There's some. Good. I thought I had some. So then go to your fleshing table and you start crafting. 15. That's those things. Beeswax. Now let's see how I do. Anyway, let's go back to ancient Greece, 5th century, where the city-states like Athens ran their own show, right? So city-states had their own way of doing things, and the other city-states didn't impede, but traded. Education wasn't some empire-wide mandate, right? It was local, scrappy, personal. Picture Socrates pacing the Agora, grilling students. Each city had its own vibe. Sparta drilled warriors, math for war, not books, while Athens chased philosophy and debate. In 2021, Classical Review piece stated that 70% of the Greek youth learned via local mentors. No central script, just community smarts. Decentralized to the core. Freedom bred thinkers like Plato, right? Hop to the ancient India. The Gurukuls, 1500 BC, were the ultimate local gig. Gurus ran their ashrams, teaching archery, math, whatever fit the village. No king barked orders. The guru knew his history, or knew his crew, knew your bow skills, knew your head for numbers, and tailored to it. It wasn't a race to 12th grade. In 2020, the Journal of Indian History says 60% of the skills came this way: personal, flexible, and rooted. Contrast that with the Confucian scholars set one brutal test. You pass it. You're a bureaucrat. You fail it. You're anything else. In 2019, Ancient Asian Studies Review noted that 80% of officials by 600 came through this, quote, standardized top down and with no wiggle room. And I just went through all my. Really? I went through all of it? Let me see where I might have some more beeswax. I thought I had some more. There we go. If I will say, fletching is one of the hardest ones to do in the game. To get it leveled up sufficiently. Mostly because the beeswax is on a timer. Okay. So medieval Europe leaned both ways, right? You had monasteries that ran local schools, teaching Latin and trade. But Charlemagne in 1800 pushed 800 AD pushed a unified curriculum for his empire. In 2022, Medieval Education Journal says that his edict trained about 50% of the clergy centrally. Control with a holy twist, right? Ancient governance. It's a tug of war, right? Local soul versus central steel, if you will. Centralized systems like France, Japan, and let's look at these, right? Central systems today means one boss, one plan. France is the poster child for this. Since Napoleon in 1806 reformed this education system, Paris calls it the shots. Or I should say Paris calls the shots. The Bachelorette, a national exam exception. Sorry, my French sucks. The baccalaureate, a national exam in 1808, is brutal but fair. Every 18-year-old faces the same beast: math, lit, literature, science, no exceptions. In 2020, the OECD report ranks France high: 550 PISA reading and 495 math. Consistency is the game. Teachers follow the national script, right? So professors there try to give people no guesswork. Everyone's on the same page, right? Now, there's a lot of backfill in there. What am I missing? What do I mean by backfill? There's a lot of intricate detail that we still have to process through all of that we just went over in just France, right? Now, and I'm not going to bury the lead. I'm more decentralized, but I have a little. There's a little. I am biased. And I could pick apart that first bit that I just said. Japan's in the same boat though. Post World War II, the Ministry of Education, go figure, set a uniform curriculum: kanji, their written language, calculus, and history. Kids drill from 6. Hit the high school entrance exams at 15. And as you may have heard, Japan's pressure, the academic pressures are wild. In 2023, the Japan Times stated that 98% graduate high school. Centralized discipline worked. PSA, now, I'm going to say these and I'm going to rebut these a lot. The PISA 2022, they did 536 in reading and 540 in math. One of the best in the world. In 2021, the Education Policy Review added centralized cuts variation, rural or urban. You get the same shot. It doesn't matter. It's like China's old exams: standardized, predictable, and built for scale. So what about decentralized systems? Well, Finland's a rock star in this. Since the 1970s, they flipped it. Local councils and teachers run the show. Kids start at 7. They play more than drill, and they crush it. 526 reading and 507 math, according to the 2022 PISA. No national tests till they're 16, and trust rules. High trust society, right? A 2024 EdUtopia deep dive said that 90% of the Finnish teachers have master's degrees. They design the lessons, not recite scripts. So teachers say, pick the books, the pace. The kids thrive in that atmosphere, right? OECD said in 2023 that 4% dropout rate. Freedom keeps them in because they're interested. Canada's similar. Did I already beeswax them? Man, what do I look like? Fletching. Like, this is the problem with this is I have no more beeswax, so I have to wait. That's the problem with fletching. Welcome to my nightmare and fletching, since I am a hunter and I want my bows. There are a few people who are master fletchers because of the world change, but honestly, it's few and far between. What I can do is I can go chop down trees until I get more resin. Let me go get my uniform on. Sure, I have the everything's in. It's like, why isn't my bracers on? I'll bring that because it's Home Valley. Actually, you know what? Home Valley, I'm going to bring my axe. And I need to actually bring another axe because. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that. All right, I want every little tree there's possible. So that's what I'm going after. I'll be dropping everything because I don't need the wood. Oh. Right here. All right, so I think you're getting all right. So when we're talking Canada, provinces, they steer everything. So Ontario's tech heavy. Alberta is trade focused. Outcomes vary but hold strong. They get 523 in reading and 512 in math. And this is all from that 2022 PISA study. In 2022, the Canadian Education Journal noted that local control sparks innovation. Nova Scotia's coding push doubled STEM grads in 5 years. And that's StatCon 2023. That's where I got that. Decentralized means chaos with payoff. Flexibility breeds results. It's more Athens reborn. Local brains, local wins. Finland's got a hybrid in this, right? So it's got the best of both worlds, if you want. Does it have any secret sauce? Well, let's see. National goals set the bar, right? So national goals will be like, this is what we need to be at. Literacy, math benchmarks are the two real big ones that the government wants you to adhere to. Right? And then you look at but the towns and teachers will tweak those benchmarks, right? No standardized tests till matriculation or graduation, right? The graduation, matriculation. Anyway, instead, projects, play, trust. In 2020, the UNESCO report said that 95% of the Finnish kids hit the proficiency. Top down, the proficiency top down vision. 95%, it's not bad. And that's bottom up, right? Meaning the teachers will tweak the necessary courses with the material and such things like that. So even though you have a high up I don't want to say edict, but requirement. I can't believe I blocked that. I did not want that though. I'll take the wool. The wool I will take. I mean, that's the amount of resin. I was really hoping that the resin in these pine would be a little bit higher, but it isn't. I don't even think I get any resin. I don't know how I did that. Okay, whatever. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to the. I'm throwing a lot of stats out because I want to be credible in what I'm telling you, and I want you to go research what I'm telling you as well. I don't expect you to believe me I wouldn't want you to believe me, right off the bat. I want you to be able to do some homework if you wanted to, because right now we're static in the United States. It's very standardized. But anyway, let's go with the in a 2023 global education review study said that hybrid cuts bureaucracy by 20% and and keeps the focus on the kids, right? Not forms. I 100% agree with that. Contrast France, right? Centralized churns out about 85% efficiency or proficiency, but about 15% burnout. That's according again to the 2022 OECD. Finland's about 5% burnout. So that was the hybrid, right? And that shows a little bit of the differences that we're talking about. So when you look at 2024, the World Economic Forum piece said that hybrids lift outcomes by 10% over pure models. Okay, that makes sense. A little bit of everything, a little bit of seasoning and everything, right? Ancient wisdom says trust the mentor and meets the modern proof. Data driven wins, right? We're being more hybrid. I don't even know where I am anymore. Okay. So let's where do the numbers steer us? If we're doing this simply from numbers, where do they steer us? Remember, we're not trying to be emotional here. And some kids might flourish in certain atmospheres. Absolutely. That's not what we're saying. Those people, those kids, and people who can sit down and learn from lectures, there are some. We're not saying there aren't any. So I want to keep that in the back of your minds as well, because we don't want to take away from those achievements from those type of people, but we're still we can still cater to them in a decentralized fashion or system. Not only cater, probably improve by the numbers. So let's look at some stats. Centralized systems, France and Japan hit 90% curriculum consistency. Rural kids match the cities. So even when you're outside the cities, they match them. Decentralized, Finland and Canada, well, 25% more innovation. Think coding labs popping up fast. In 2023, the Journal of Education Administration did a meta-analysis, and local control boosts engagement by 15%. Kids feel that it's theirs, that they take ownership of it, right? If that makes sense. So the UNECSO, or ESCO, in 2024 said centralized cuts dropouts by 10% in tight systems, and standards hold firm. That's interesting. But flexibility shines, right? In the PISA or PISA 2022, top 5 nations, Finland, Canada, Estonia, lean decentralized or hybrid. 520 plus scores. In 2020, Education Next study, centralized system lags adaptability. France's tech rollout took 5 years. Finland's 2 years. Brain Science nods. A 2021 Nature Reviews neuroscience piece. Autonomy spikes motivation by 20%. Local freedom wires your care. So how do we steer the ship? What's the game plan here? And the game plan right in front of you is we're trying to find resin. So all these little trees, God, this is going to take forever. It's a sad state of affairs. You know what? I'm gonna keep these. I'm gonna drop these, and I'm just gonna make a fold. That's what I'm gonna do. I don't know why people built in this valley. I was originally gonna build here, and I was like, this sucks. It's prone to flooding. There's no flooding in the game, but it would be cool. If they ever get farming in the game, that'd be even better. I'd love to see farming in the game. Go take care of these guys. Yep. Yeah, notice when I have to look at the game, I tend to stop talking about education. Yeah, it's all about placement and where you're putting your character, right? So you can actually get this done in a timely manner without making it look horrible on the screen. Ah, there's a lot more tin and copper. That's crazy. This is all tin. To me, it's just sand. It's tin. You don't really need it. Just need these little trees. There used to be a tree that gave you a lot of resin. It's a very sticky tree. I'm not sure why they're not giving us as much resin. I really don't. It's the weirdest thing. Anyway, at any rate, let's talk about the game plan. So schools, let's push local. So, in a district piloted by teacher-led units, engagement goes up 20%, right? But states would set the baselines in math and reading, and then lets the towns or communities tweak that, right? Really, all that for anyway. At any rate, there's a lot of these little trees around, so there's no other way of getting resin, by the way. There's a glitch I have solved. That's it. Let's see if that yeah, that took it out of the glitch. All right. So let's talk about a rural school, right? Add farming tech. And the kids stayed in the town, right? Feds, well, use fund flexibility. The ESSA's 1 billion tech grant in 2023 work if states bend to that request. Individuals lobby school boards, right? You could pitch coding and maybe get it in, depending. Because remember, you with coding, you have to have a teacher that can teach the coding as well. Nowadays, not really. But anyway, we can talk about that later. In 2024, an ed policy guide, 50% of the parents want control and speak up. Good for you. I think that should be 80% or 90% or 100% want control over their kids' education. That would be my pushback to those parents the 50% of parents who just want to send their kids off to a school to learn something that somebody else thinks is important for their kids. I told you I'm biased on this, and I'll admit my bias. Decentralization and controls of the family units, much better. Much better. And nobody said that the family unit actually had to do the teaching. So there's a couple gaslighting arguments that I'm prepared for. All right. So what can you do? Well, join a council, shape it. When you're in the local area, you might be able to shape it a lot better than what you think, and in a more beneficial manner to the way we do things. Nobody's saying that we have to. Well, no, I am saying let's topple the apple cart. Maybe it's time. You want to govern what fits, right? Essentially, at the end of the day, you want something that works, that fits what you need as a community, as a society, as the human race. There is nothing more frustrating. Let me say it this way. Well, let's continue. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Governance is dry, right? But it's the engine. We have ancient echoes of Greek freedom. Chinese order meet modern proofs, right? Centralized scales, decentralized sparks, right? However, the US is half baked. Feds nudge, states steer, but it's just absolutely clunky. That's interesting. I wonder if they know about this. Or it might be a server issue. Oh, I did change my bit stream rate. So if you think it's not up to par, let me know. Meaning the graphics, let me know in the comments. Again, this is a learning thing. It's funny the amount of beechwood there are. Anyway, in a 2023 WEF report, 50% of educations need agility. I agree with that. The climate and AI demand it, if you think about it. UNESCO in 2024 stated that hybrids lift outcomes by 15%. So they're thinking balance is the key, right? It's not tests, it's who calls the shots. Socrates thrived in local. Exams built China. Let's debate next, because ideas fight it out, right? And that's good, because we've learned more about the ideas when we nitpick, or when somebody can or say that, hey, isn't this a flaw? What about this? What about that? Right? And this is good. These are asking questions using kind of the Socratic method. In a way, debates bring the Socratic method. And it's very good. It's a good thing, right? All right, let me pop out a non-sponsored spot here of Zevia. It's a 0-calorie soda with no sugar, 0 sugar as well, made by the stevia plant for sweetness. Once you're off sugar, it doesn't taste any different, honestly. But if you eat stevia with sugar, it's just nasty. It's a I think it confuses your body, maybe. I don't know. It's a not a great taste flavor profile. But stevia or Zevia does not do that. So you don't have to worry about it. Awesome, right? That is the good news about listening to, and I didn't put up the world sounds. This guy over here. Lots of beehives. Oh, that's right. I can't drop in here. I really don't like that feature. But okay, whatever. Uh, all this for basically resin. I wonder if it was easier in ancient times to get resin. Definitely interesting. Resin made a lot of different things as well. It's the glue that kept things together. There was other glues. Resin was one of the tougher glues. Made those out of it. That's pretty cool. That I think they got right in history. History of the game. Anyway, let's go with let's debate. So we've been digging into the education's guts all episode. Now throughout this series, I should say. Now we're throwing in two big ideas into the tradition versus innovation. Should we stick with the old school book or school playbook, I should say? Structure, discipline, the classics, or flip the table with tech, personalization, and wild new paths, innovative new paths, right? So we're pulling from ancient roots, right? Modern data and some real world fire to hash this out. And I want you in on it. I honestly think the more people we can get excited about this, the more change we can initiate. The more change we initiate, the better off our society is in the future because many of us will have a better education. Or I shouldn't even say that. More knowledge. And some of us will be hyper specialized, and that's okay. Why is that a bad thing? I'm gonna head back real quick. Okay. So if you're in the chat, go ahead and get ready to collaborate with me because it's 2025. It's time to change. Let's start with the traditionalists. Think Aristotle pacing Athens, or around 350 BC, laying down logic like the ancient wisdom he had in the Nicomachean ethics. He argued structure and discipline sharpen the mind, reciting geometry proofs, no fluff, just rigor. In 2021, the Classic Study Review says 70% of Athens' elite came from this logic, and it built empires. Fast forward to medieval Europe, monasteries pounded Latin and scripture into the monks. In 2020, Medieval History Journal says 60% of the clergy trained this way. Standardized, tough, and therefore effective. I'm gonna argue that. How effective could it have been? We don't know. You have the clergy run by the church telling you that they did something good. Of course it worked. We did it. Anyway. China's imperial exams in the Han Dynasty around 206 BC doubled down. Centralized tests picked up talent for 2,000 years. A 2019 Asian Studies Review noted that 80% of officials by 600 AD passed one brutal gauntlet and consistently ruled by. In even 1800s America, Horace Mann's common schools in 1830 published reading, writing, arithmetic for all. In 2022, History's Today piece, literacy hit 90% by the 1900s. Structure scale. It helped. Traditions pitch, discipline and standards forge minds. Aristotle's logic echoes in every textbook. That's not that anymore. All right. So now we go to the modern innovation, right? In the we'll call it Khan's digital revolution. Well, Khan Academy, guys. Enter Sal Khan, born in 1976 in New Orleans. He's flipping the game with Khan Academy, 2008 or 2008. This guy started tutoring his cousin online, and it went viral. And he built a platform over it. That's pretty cool. So it's a personalized, digital, free platform. In the One World Schoolhouse in 2012, he argued, let kids learn at their pace. Algebra today, physics tomorrow, no bells. In 2022, the Journal of Education Technology study tracked 5,000 users. 20% of them had better outcomes than traditional setups. Why, you ask? You pick. The person picks. The person can master and the person can move on. You can jump from C to A's in math, grinning the whole way. But I think what's lost is the timetable. This is what's lost on people. People have this fictitious timetable. I need to be up at 8, get to school by 8:05, get in a C by 8:10, go to first class, go to second class, go to third class, and then after school, I'm going to have to pick up more. I have to pick up, do more time because of homework. Repetition's key, right? All right, let me move my notes here. So innovation's roots run deep, right? Socrates in 470 BC ditched lectures for questions. He tailored every chat to the person he was talking to. I'm just really something. Don't need that. This is going to take a little bit of maneuvering to get this in there. There we go. I knew I could start it out. You always need coal, guys. You always need coal. Charcoal, to be precise. In modern terms, we could actually use this for water filtration as well, right? Just FYI. put that away. That there, put that there. Put these all in here. We'll get back to our conversation in a moment. So much. So much. Yeah, this is the bad part about the game is you really have to. Oh, bad part? Nah. I kind of enjoy doing the chores because I know what I need to do and I kind of do them and I have all the tools and everything. And it kind of works out for me. So I'm kind of happy about the game aspect here. And I kind of learned something from everything as well. Because I tend to do my own homework because I'm interested, right? We were just talking about it. When you're talking about a course or some kind of study, mandatory study, I'm not really interested in finding out what, certain things are. I'm not going to do any more work to figure it out. But here, charcoal. Well, what else is charcoal used for other than the smelters, the forges, right? That's the idea you have to come away with. It's like, man, these are cool, but how do they work? Anyway, let's talk. So when Socrates, he was doing these chats, right? And Montessori in 1907 let kids explore. They became self-directed and hands-on. In 2023. Ed Sykes' study said Montessori grads outscored peers by 15% in problem solving. Freedom works, guys. Khan's 2024 TED Talk adds that, quote, tech meets kids where they are. Scale with soul. Unquote. It's not chaos. It's ancient smarts that with a server. Personal beats mass every time. Every time. So the data's a brawl, right? Traditions got chops in 2021. UNESCO reports that standardized tests systems lift literacy by 25% in structured nations. Consistency's a hammer. In 2020, the OECD study centralized curricula in France and Japan hit 90% proficiency, both rural and urban. They hit the same bar. And discipline sticks in the PISA 2022, Japan's 540 math reflects a drill down focus. In 2023, the Journal of Educational Psychology piece, they wrote learning locks basics 30% faster. Foundation becomes solid. The foundations are first, right? Well, we talk about innovation. Well, what did it do? Well, in RAND in 2017, personalized learning adds 3 months gains yearly, 20% over traditional. The 2024 EdTech review, 65% of students in adaptive programs stay engaged. It hooks them, right? The brain science swings in. A 2021 Nature Neuroscience study, self-directed tasks boost dopamine 20%. Why? Because we are more tuned to that behavior. It becomes a rush for us, right? Let's go upstairs. You gotta start lighting this area. So the UNESCO in 2024 said innovative systems cut dropouts by 15%. Kids stay in when it's their idea to stay in. It's a slugfest. Structure scales, but flexibility sparks. So what's your call? Do we stick with the classics, math, logic, discipline, or go wild with tech, choice, and chaos? Picture your ideal school. Rules and rows, or quests and screens? Let me know in the comments, or in the chat, or on X. Tell us. I've got there's a lot of people who swear by drills. They say it makes them sharp. Another lives on apps, learned coding overnight. But what's your story? I'd like to hear it. In 2024, EdWeek showed that 55% of folks are split down the middle. Let's hear what you guys have to say. For fun, imagine this. A school with core drills, math, and reading, then frees afternoons to code or weld or whatever they want to do. Why not test it? Why don't we look at it and see if anybody loves it? You think it would fly? Here's the sweet spot in hybrid. It's hybrid, right? Core skills, Aristotle's logic, math, and words. Lock the base, then the personal paths. Cons tech, your pace, spark the fire. In 2023, a global education review study said hybrids lift outcomes by 15%. We said this earlier. Japanese drill basics adds robotics, 540 PISA math scores in 2022. Finland sets goals and frees teachers, 526 in reading. That's not either or, it's both, guys. In 2021, education, the next piece, 60% of the top systems mix it. Standards will stretch. If somebody's old school flops, the state tests will kill the trades. Hybrid could have saved it. It's an ancient reason. Aristotle's rigor meets modern freedom. Socrates, why? Ask the question, why? In 2024, the WEF report said 50% of the education needs balance. They need a balanced climate. They need AI. And they need to demand it. The hybrid's the hammer. Pound the basics and swing for the stars. If you don't know math, you can't build rockets, right? We still need the basics. Well, here's a playbook. Teachers can blend drills and choice. If your class does math basics, then robot projects, your scores will go up by 20%. Parents, push the boards for a flex type environment. Get coding into schools. Get schools to pilot hybrids. In 2023, Edtopia said 30% more engagement with hybrids. Kids stayed awake. Kids actually showed up. Debate locals. Argue in the meetings. Get it to shift gears. Try it. Let's set a goal. Math drills. Add play. App quests. Learn stats. How do you learn stats? Maybe Quizlet? Why not? Or stats, baseball, actually. Stats and probabilities. Baseball, football, basketball, soccer. You can use statistics and probability for every one of those types of individual, any sports figure, right? So as a kid, you might be into a sport really bad, but what's the percentage of your favorite player making it down the field and actually scoring? Math. . In a 2024 Forbes survey, 50% of people want input. It's the ship. It's our ship to steer, not anybody else's. So this clash, tradition steel versus innovation smart, it drives us. There's ancient roots. Aristotle, Socrates meet modern proof in the data and the tech. The U.S. system's stuck. It's half central and half lost. In 2023, the UNESCO report, 40% of the education systems need debate. Stagnation kills. Hybrid's the forge. The reason less freedom is the hammers as the result. You're the smith. Wow, that was interesting. I hit a key. It was a fast key. I gotta remember that. So we've gone through history, science, games, traditions, trades, governance. Now we have to fix. In my instance, let's fix the U.S. education system. This isn't a tweak or a band-aid. I want a full-on rebuild. Practical, scalable, personal, and build it for the wild ride of 2025 beyond and beyond. We want to blend the ancient wisdom and modern data. We want a hefty dose of grit, and we want think Aristotle meets Socrates, meets Mike Rowe, with a dash of tech to craft a model that works. It's a multifaceted plan: personal tracks, trades, gamified hooks, and rock solid basics, backed by reason, logic, and a real world punch. I want to create something that lasts, and I want to bring my audience, as little as it is, I want to bring you along with me. Let's ground this. First, history is our blueprint. Ancient Greece, 5th century, gave us Socrates. Personalized questioning. No one size fits all. Athens, local schools churned out thinkers. In 2021, Classic Review says 70% of elites learned this way. Tailored curricula, not mass curricula. Medieval guilds, 1200s, trained Smith, 7 years on hands-on. Mastery. In 2020, medieval history journals pegs 80% of the skilled labor for this. It's practical. China has imperial exams since 206 BC. They standardized the basics. 80% of officials pass one test. Discipline scaled a nation. In the U.S., Horace Mann's Common Schools in 1830 hit 90% literacy by 1900. That's huge. The Morrill Act of 1862 birthed trade-focused colleges. Kansas State taught blacksmithing, feeding in the industrial boom. In 2023 education history piece, 60% of the 19th century tradesmen came through this, hands-on, and built America. We're not reinventing, we're remixing. Ancient with a personal touch, guild grit, and modern scale. This isn't a scattershot system either. Personal tracks spark passion, trades build stability, gamification will hook you. The basics will ground you. In 2024, WEF report said 50% of future jobs need this mix. Adaptability plus roots. It's scalable. Fits cities, fits farms, fits suburbs, and it's personal. Your kid, your way. Heck, your way. Let's be realistic. Like I said, let's reinvent the whole thing. Let's break it down. We can use the building blocks of history and ancients and even modern history. Ultimately, what we're looking for is the ability for us to craft something a little bit more um, what's a good word for it? Not personalized. So who does what? Let's think about this. And this is going to be interesting. So teachers, well, they can innovate, blend basics with quests, right? They say they have the education of educators, so they can make these curricula. You can mix math drills with robot builds. The parents guide, right? You can pick tracks, join boards. You can push coding at your kid's school or your kid's high school, or whatever. Policymakers fund it. We fund a lot. Why can't we fund this? Make it flexible. Shift budgets and cut red tape. If only, right? But this is how we have to do it. Students. Get the students engaged in their own education. They need to see the importance, and if they don't, then their education just takes them. Think about it that way. And do we need a piece of paper that shows you that you've been taught to a certain degree? Let's rethink that too. Choice boosts motivation by 20%. How about tradespeople? Let's get them to mentor. Mike Rose pushed this. Bring real world people into situations where kids can look at it, feel it, use it. I'm not saying they should weld two bars together, but maybe they watch the welder, or the welder shows what they do, why they do it. The importance of plumbing and the elegance of plumbing, by the way. Plumbing just isn't pipes that go into the ground and into a sewer. There's a lot of engineering to it. Think about it in those terms as well. Sell the trades. You can have engineers for those trades too. But some of the best engineers I've known actually were technicians first, or tradesmen first. It's not a top-down effort, but everybody is in, right? In 2022, Journal of Educational Administration, multi-stakeholder models cut failure by 25%. Go figure. We put all this math and this quantitative studies to these I thought I did it here. We put all these numbers to everything, right? Let's see. I got a lot of numbers. I'm kind of skipping over numbers. Hit it in the chat if you want to see some numbers. Again, start small. You don't have to hit everything just and change everything at once. However, with what I've seen on the school systems, and this isn't disparaging to teachers or maybe the bureaucrats of the teachers, there's more bureaucrats than there are teachers. People wonder why the teachers don't get paid as much. And why should they get paid? What are they doing? It's a legitimate question. Some teach, and those aren't the people I'm talking to. And people who I'm not talking to shouldn't get offended. What I'm talking about is the people who go there for a paycheck. I'm like, yeah, I'll teach the test and I'll be done with it. Oh, look, everybody passed it with 90%. I'm doing such a great job. The kids are like, yeah, I just memorized everything. Anything you said, I memorized. Okay. So memorization, as we know from previous conversation, doesn't last as long as hands-on, in-depth, choiced work. All right. Well, it's been one heck of a ride. Over 3 days tearing into education from every angle. Let's bring it home. We've covered a ton. Ancient wisdoms, the test of centuries, modern science, and it's cracking how we learn. And practical ideas that hit the ground running. This isn't just a recap, it's a handoff. Everything we've dug into is yours to chew on, wrestle with, and make your own. You don't have to agree with me. You're not here to swallow what I have to say to give you. You're here to think for yourself. That's the whole point of this. That's the whole point of the channel. Let's have the debate. And you know what? I might be like, you got a good point on centralized. Keep an open mind. That's the game. Let's pull it all together. And thank you from the bottom of my heart. I do appreciate you listening to me. This is a passion. And this is not and I want to say it's not a race. Everybody thinks this race. You start at 5, you end at 18. And maybe you go to college, you learn a little bit more, or you go into a trade school, you learn a little bit more. We are a safety first society, and we got to stop that. Safety is important. However, and I might be misquoting Mike Rowe in this, but maybe safety third. You know, safety is important, but it's not the end all be all. There's certain things that OSHA requires me to do in my workplace that is unbelievably cumbersome on the actual task itself. Instead of a task taking 5 minutes, it takes 20 minutes because I have to gather all the safety. Think about it. The law is getting in the way. An over-litigious society is a society that is doomed not to grow. It just isn't. You're making too many rules against innovation. There are certain rules and laws that need to be implemented for sure. That's not what I'm saying. That's a whole different conversation. I mean, we've talked about ancient Greece, Socrates, Aristotle. We looked at Athens. We looked at Confucius, the Analects, India's Gurukuls in 1500 BC. We looked at medieval guilds for crying out loud. And then we hit today, right? We hit research backs all these ancient teachings. What we have to do with our technology now is make it so we can learn more efficiently, better, at our own pace. And I'll say it again, I don't want to see 12 years. That's all you get. Grades 1 through 12. And then you go to college or a trade school. And then next 4 years. And then you go out and get a job. It makes no sense. That's not life. That's 25 years, 24 years of your life that's dedicated to school. A quarter of your life is dedicated to school. Just school. Very few practical applications within that school structure, by the way, unless you go to a trade school, and then about 4 or 5 years. That seems lopsided to me. I might be getting the numbers wrong, but that's what I'm here to talk and discuss with everybody. Debate everybody. Let's debate. Debate's not a bad word. Debate opens minds by asking questions. If we don't ask questions, we'll never learn the answers. The best thing about this is it's our call. the state has legislated something or the federal government has legislated something in the United States, we have the ability to overturn that. If you try to do something, you'll get it done. And try something on what is it? Coursera? Try World of Warcraft or PAX Day. Learn it. Learn how to grill ribs on YouTube. You know, test the hybrid theory that we came up with. Drill math and then build a robot. Reason it out. Does structure anchor you or freedom fire you up? That's another aspect to this. The person, the individual, anything you do within that individual silo will tell you which direction you need to go for that individual. This is your toolbox. Ancient roots, modern proof, and real stories. The US can thrive. Pipes fixed, right? Apps coded, minds are sharp. But it's on us. In 2021, the UNESCO stat said education lifts GDP by 2%. That's it? 2%? That seems a little low to me. Personal learning's 20% the edge. Right? Trades are 500K jobs or more. The number of jobs, right? Games, dopamine rush. It makes you want to learn. Chat at us. What's your fix? You're the pilots. Steer the ship. But seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thanks for being here. You stuck with me for episode 119, 120, 121, and now 122. 2 hours almost each day. An hour here, hour there. And I'm grateful. This is just the start. Subscribe on Rumble as well. Share this with anybody who is interested in education, who wants to have the conversation. And let me see. Today is Sunday. I don't know about tomorrow. I might be back tomorrow night. I got to think of an idea to go over. But if more people are joining, then I would offer that more people should comment in the comment section or in the chat. I'm on X. I'm on Rumble. I'm on YouTube. Throw me something. We can talk. This is what we need: a society that talks. Your ideas are grand. They're part of the human experience. They're part of society as a whole. In the US, your ideas hold a little bit more or closeness to me because we have a path to change something in the United States. I can help you in other countries get an idea and structure it so you have the ability to legally move in your own country to change things. So, with the rising sun in the screen, which was just apt, we'll call it there, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Until then, like I said, hit that subscribe button, the like button, share the show with your friends, hit that notification button. Over on Rumble, I'll be posting this tomorrow on Rumble. I think we can make the change for the better. I don't think we need to be stuck in this economic pit of what we call scholastics. Let's talk. Let's see what can happen. Lifelong learning. Molded for your interests, to keep your interests, and to guide you into your next career or your next endeavor. Until next time, this is Daniel. Have a good night, have a good day, depending on where you are in the world. We'll We'll see you soon.
With every step, a lesson learned. From fire's heat to the fields I've turned. The blade and bow, the forge and flame. I sharpen my skills, I play the game. Each day brings a challenge I must face. I train my hands with careful grace. From alchemy's art to the hunter's way, I'll find the strength to seize the day. I carve my path, I walk the line, in the shadow of the ancient sign. Through trial and toil I'll find my way, learning more with each passing day. The skill of survival, the will to thrive, in a world where the strong survive. I'll face the night, I'll take the chance. I'm ready to fight, to learn to dance. For every strike and every fall, I'm building my strength, I'm standing tall. In the heart of the wild and the calm of the night, I gather my skills, I'm ready to fight. From the herbs I find to the iron I mold, each lesson learned is a story told. The stars above, they guide my hand. As I hone my craft, I take my stand. In the quiet woods, in the mountains chill, I push myself, I shape my will. With each new tool and every lore, I'm stronger now than I was before. I carve my path, I walk the line, in the shadow of the ancient sign. Through trial and toil I'll find my way, learning more with each passing day. The skill of survival, the will to thrive, in a world where the strong survive. I'll face the night, I'll take the chance. I'm ready to fight, to learn to dance. For every strike and every fall, I'm building my strength, I'm standing tall. In the heart of the wild and the calm of the night, I gather my skills, I'm ready to fight. The road is long, but I won't turn back. The lessons I learned keep me on track. With each new skill, the stronger I grow. In the face of the storm, I let my courage show. I've tasted defeat, I felt the sting, but I rise again with each new spring. For knowledge is power, and wisdom the key. I'm forging my path, I'm breaking free. The skill of survival,